welcome to Hiker Homily number 4 for the week of January 22nd, 2018. And I know I've said it before, and I know I tend to ramble on about things, but I plan on this one to be slightly short because I've only got a couple of subjects. But one subject is definitely one that I can rant on about, so who knows what's going to happen. You probably know what happened already. If you're looking at the video, you can see how long it is. We'll see how well I did at keeping it down in time. But for now, welcome to Hiker Homily number 4. And let me tell you what, one thing I wanted to get in this intro is the weather. Again, respect to the rest of the country who's dealing with some really weird stuff. I mean, my daughter's going to college in Georgia, and she had to deal with school closures last week and a couple of inches of snow in Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. What the heck? And I know there's a lot of people on the eastern seaboard dealing with a lot of snow and things like that. So here we are in California, and yeah, it's not too bad. We're getting a little snow in the Sierras, but nothing huge yet and things. But here in the Central Valley where I live, I'm looking out the window. It wasn't forecasted until this morning. All of a sudden we've got rain. We were supposed to have rain Wednesday through the rest of the week until about the weekend. Now they're telling us there's going to be rain today, and it's raining. Wednesday, Thursday, maybe not Friday, they're not sure, maybe something, yeah. So, yeah, here we are. It's the rainy season in the Central Valley. We're getting some, and so that has, even if I wanted to go out hiking, it has kind of curtailed that a little bit, and that's kind of how it is. I've been kind of taking a break from that. I've been doing some other kinds of exercises, but hiking outside, except for the one long one I did with the hiking club that I'm in, kind of curtailed that, but I'll be getting back out there and doing more hiking reports and stuff. But good news, and you'll see it coming up. I'll talk a little bit about it here. I did get out a little bit on a road trip with the Scouts, and a few more of those planned. So stuff coming up, but for now, we're in the rainy season, and you know, as much as winter acts like winter here in Central California, in the Central Valley near Sacramento, this is what we're getting, and so there we go. Hiker Homily number 4, here we go. So, with my son being in the Boy Scout troop, we do a lot of stuff with them where, you know, my wife and I are active parents with our children. When our children are involved in things, that means we're involved in things. And my kid did things like, when they were younger, they were in a swimming league. They've done little things here and there. My son does cross country and track and field. My daughter and my son were both into drama, children's theater and stuff like that when they were younger. And that means mom and dad are involved too, as far as my wife and I are always concerned. When the kids do something, that means we're going to be in on that 100%. So Boy Scouts, we took a day trip 2 days ago, Saturday, out to the Alameda Coast Guard Island to see the United States Coast Guard cutter Monroe, which is a new Legend class Coast Guard cutter. It's a new class of Coast Guard cutter that they've started to introduce into their fleet. And let me tell you, they are nice ships. Really cool. I'm going to do a little bit of a road trip, a very brief road trip video. So I'm going to have a lot of the details about the ship there. But it's a pretty decent sized ship, a little over 400 feet long. It can hold 2 helicopters and a crew of around 140, depending on what its mission is. And it's really cool. So you'll be getting more details on that if you watch the road trip video, and I'm putting up, you know, little things there, but you're going to see more on the road trip video, pictures and video that I was able to take. And it was a really cool trip with the Boy Scouts. I think the Scouts had a great time. I had a great time, learned a few things, and that was really awesome. It's the kind of thing we like to do with our scouting troop. Something different. Doesn't always have to be. I mean, the Scouts like to get out there and do some hiking, do some camping, and have fun with that kind of thing. But we like to do different stuff too. We've gone to, you know, the Air Museum down in Castle Air Force Base. We've got another cool trip, I think, coming up soon to an actual active air base. And I don't know how much I'll be able to film with that, but we're looking forward to that. We've got several other cool trips planned because we do a little bit more than just the camping and hiking. We do a lot of cool road trips too with this troop. And that was one of them, Coast Guard cutter Monroe. We thank you for your hospitality, officers and crew of the Monroe. Fantastic tour. The boys really had a great time. Everyone had a good time. Learned a lot, and Right on, U.S. Coast Guard. You guys rock, and we really appreciated the tour, so thanks a lot. Fear! Fear is what we're talking about next. What kinds of things are out there that can be scary or that will make people not want to backpack or hike? What do we fear? What? Was that Sasquatch? What? No, no! Whoa! Whoa, yeah, that's one thing, yeah. Okay, in all seriousness, there are some things to be afraid of, that to have fear. The thing is, though, the term I prefer to use would be respect, which is basically, in this case, respect can mean several different things. In the way I'm going to use it here, respect is another word for fear that you have learned to manage and keep mindful. Okay? You shouldn't let fear paralyze you into not doing things. And there are lots of folks online that have expressed a wish to get out there and do the things. They see folks walking the Pacific Crest Trail. They see folks going backpacking. I've had people tell me, "Oh my gosh, you were out in the woods for 3 nights?" I wish I could do something like that, but I'm just too afraid. And that's unfortunate. It really is. And so that's what this is about, is how to mitigate those fears. Turn your fears into healthy respect, but not give in to them so much that you just end up not trying something that you may actually enjoy and really like. And yeah, that really would be the whole gist of it. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there aren't dangers. If you're going to be doing real out there in the middle of nowhere backpacking, there are dangers out there. And a lot of the top list basically of things that people talk about would be animals. They're afraid of certain types of animals. Typically we're talking about mountain lions. Bears are like probably the number one thing. People are afraid of bears. Rattlesnakes, things like that. Okay. Number 2 fear for some is just the fact that you're out in the middle of nowhere. They're actually afraid of the people. I've had people tell me, and I've seen it online, I wouldn't want to go out there because if something happened, there's no police to call. There's no fire department or ambulance to call. And that fear of not having immediate help, they're so used to it in living in civilized society, being able to pick up a phone, dial 911, and get a police officer or an ambulance to their place like that. They're so used to that the idea of being someplace where it doesn't work that way paralyzes them in fear. And I don't mean they're just like scared stiff. I'm talking about paralyzes them as far as that's why they don't go out there. The whole idea and the things that they see in pictures look amazing to them. Oh my gosh, what an amazing lake. I'd love to be able to visit that lake. Oh, I have to backpack to it. It takes 2 days. Forget it. And it's not because they're afraid of the work it will take. These are folks who are in good shape. Some of them, they're afraid of leaving let's call it a security blanket, the comfort of what civilization brings, and that's immediate help when you need it. Okay? And other things would be along those same lines, being out there, way out there and stuff like that. They do not have the confidence in their skills of navigation. They are afraid to go out there because they're afraid that they're going to get lost, that they're going to get separated from the group that they're with. They're going to end up lost, and that's it for them. They're in So those are some of the the main fears that you see listed. When someone comes on and says, "Oh, you guys are great for doing that kind of stuff, and I live vicariously through you because I could never do it." Well, how come? And if their answer is fear, that's usually some of the main fears that they list out. Oh, I couldn't do it because of, and some of those ones that I just listed. Almost all of those fears can be mitigated by one thing, and that is be prepared. And you've heard me say it before, and I will say it again because it is the utmost truth as far as I'm concerned, especially when hiking is concerned, that it is not just a scout motto. You do not have to have anything to do with the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts to follow the logic of be prepared. If you prep properly for a trip and plan and you do some research, almost any of those fears, from animals to getting lost to people on the trail and not having immediate first responder help, can be mitigated, lessened, turned into a healthy respect instead of a paralyzing fear, if you just properly plan and you research. And that can go for even the simple day hike trips. Just recently I went to Stevens Trail with the hiking club that I have joined here in this local area. A lot of good folks in that club, and they sent out an email. We're all on this email list. The person in charge of that sends out an email saying, "Hey, this month's day hike will be Stevens Trail, and we're going to there, and it's going to be Colfax, California, and they give you some basic information. It's 9 miles, and hope to see you there. Bring a lunch, etc., etc." Little information like that. Now, you could just okay, that's all the information I need. Here's where the trailhead is, and we're going to meet here in our cars, and it's going to be this many miles. All right, and I'll bring some food. Me personally, and I think any good hiker, smart hiker, would right then and there get online. I'm going to find out about Stevens Trail if I've never been there before, because some of the club had hiked there before. I had not. I had never been on that trail, and so that's the first thing I did was jump online. And the tools online nowadays are amazing. They're out there, because a lot of people, when they hear the word research, they're like, "Oh, prep and planning research. I don't have months to do all that anymore." Especially if we're talking like little day hikes, but even for more major hikes, most of the major planning and research can be done in a couple of days with the online resources we have. Okay, and I'll be doing I think I'm going to be doing an app report on at least one of them, the All Trails app. But All Trails, even Google Earth, there's all kinds of ways. Stevens Trail happens to be under the Bureau of Land Management, so you can go to the Bureau of Land Management's website, and they have Stevens Trail listed there, and they have a little blurb on it, so you can learn about that there. There are all kinds of ways online to learn about places that you want to go to hike before you get there, so you are prepared. Like for the example of Stevens Trail, I looked at that and realized, all right, yes, it is 9 miles. It's 4.5 miles, almost all downhill, and then 4.5 miles back uphill. So, I don't always bring my trekking poles on every hike I go to, because I do pretty well on level land without trekking poles. I don't need them and things like that. But if I'm going to be doing elevation, I learned last summer when I first got trekking poles and got to use them on a backpack trip in the Sierras, that especially with how my knees have acted up, and at the time my back had gone out on me and stuff like that, trekking poles allowed me to get up the summits. They helped me get up those hills when I needed to get up those hills and things. And so this trip I was able to research that, and I realized, all right, trekking poles are coming with me for this day hike, and I'm going to do this for lunch, and I'm going to have this much water because the weather looks like it's going to be this temperature, all that kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about, being prepared. It does not take that long to do that kind of simple research. And you can do the same thing to be prepared for the longer trips too. Yes, the weather predictions are going to be a little more sketchy. If you're going to be out there for a month, yeah, they're not going to be forecast out that long. You're going to have to kind of keep track. But as far as just like knowing the terrain and the kinds of things to expect, the kinds of wildlife that can be found along the thing. All of that can be researched, and that research can help your mind cope with, I am afraid of bears. Okay, well, let's look up the California black bear. Okay, the western black bear, which is the most predominant one the only one you're gonna run into here on this side. Grizzlies are in other parts of the country. We don't have them on the trails here in California and most of, Oregon up into Washington areas. So it's the black bear. You look up the black bear and you figure out that, okay, 9.9 times out of 10 they run from you. And here's what to do. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Here's what to do. If you really want to carry the little bit of extra weight, they have things like bear repellents, things like that. And yeah, there's going to be some people who are always going to say, yeah, you said 9.9. That means there's still a 0.1 there. Yeah, there is. There's never going to be a 100% safe thing. I cannot 100% tell you 100% without a doubt that I can't walk out my front door right now and something bad happened to me. I can't do that. Because you don't know. Okay, there is no 100% in life, period. So if you're waiting to do something because you're waiting for that 100% safety thumbs up, you'll never get it. Never. Okay, if you can get 99.9, that's pretty gosh darn good. Okay, I'd go for it then. But it is. You can mitigate these fears and don't let it paralyze you. And on the other side of the coin, don't give in to the whole YOLO, the misused YOLO and misused HIO things. And if you guys remember, the last, whatchamacallit, HIO is hike your own hike. YOLO is you only live once. Those terms are useful under certain circumstances, but unfortunately they have become completely misused to be an excuse to be stupid. And that's the huge thing right there. It is good to be afraid of certain things if you let that fear become healthy respect, because then you make smart decisions, you check, you plan, you prepare for things, you practice, you get ready. That way when you go out there, if something does go a little sideways, you have, okay, I went over this. If this happened, this is what I'm going to try, okay? So don't let the stupid use of YOLO and HIO take over your decision-making process. I'm not going to rant super long on that because I've already talked about hike your own hike and how it is misused a lot by many in the hiker community. But it can be used correctly. Hike your own hike means, yes, respect some of the dangers that are out there, because it is not, I'm not going to sit here and tell you there aren't dangers out there. Yes, you can get lost. Yes, sometimes rivers can swell and you'll get stuck somewhere and have trouble crossing a river. It could be dangerous. Yes, there are animals out there that you could encounter, and that comes with an element of danger. Absolutely. Healthy respect for that. Be prepared as best you can for that. Don't let it keep you from going out there. But don't just say, screw it. He said it's going to be okay, so YOLO, off I go. Don't be stupid about it. Because 9 times out of 10, that's where we end up getting the search and rescue calls and all kinds of issues and news about hikers who are lost or injured, was because they YOLO'd it. They weren't prepared. They made a mistake, overconfident, and ended up in trouble. Okay? And I'm not bagging on people who have had trouble out there before or had to call search and rescue, because there are legitimate, I mean, it can happen. I've already said, I acknowledge there are dangers out there. Things can happen, and even prepared, they don't always go as planned. Okay, I kind of prepared for this, so I'm going to try this. Oh crap, that didn't work. I'm going to call search and rescue. Yes, that can happen, absolutely, but most of the time, a lot of the time, things can be prevented if folks would actually do some research and be prepared. You know, have the right amount of water. If you know you're going to be hiking in the desert in June, and you carry one water bottle, that's what you're carrying. Okay, that kind of thing. You're going to end up out there with hydration, which can be a fatal condition, and or calling for help and things like that. And all of that could have been prevented if you would have either picked a better season to hike in the desert, or if you couldn't pick a better season, then go during the very hot season prepared with proper kind of sun cover, proper amounts of water to hydrate yourself, all that kind of thing. See, you can do it. It can be done if you're smart about it. not dumb about it. What can I say? So I think that's about what I'm going to rant on there on that subject. And that's going to be Hiker Homily number 4 for the week of January 22nd, 2018. Thanks a lot. I hope you're liking the new format, that we're talking about more hiking stuff instead of just kind of like how much weight is this and did I walk somewhere this week. Trying to get on some more interesting topics. So I hope you guys are enjoying that. As always, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate those of you who are sticking with me and giving the videos a look. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I'll see you next week.